France. It's a 30-minute journey across what they call the English Channel, and it takes you 30 minutes literally to cross it. And when you get to northern France, there are barbed wire fences everywhere, right at the border. There are tents everywhere. When I first got there in 2015, about 10,000 people just left in the mud and the squalor on the doorstep of the UK, because that's where they're trying to get to. And I don't know if you remember baby Alan Kurdi that got washed up on the beach, the 3-year-old boy, and it went global all over the world, that photo. When that picture came up, I realised that I couldn't just sit and watch from across the border in the UK. We were 30 minutes away. I haven't got children yet. I had no real big responsibilities. So I just turned up one weekend to see for myself, because in the UK media, and I'm pretty sure the global media, what was being portrayed was very much one narrative, and a very, very negative narrative. And it's very easy for us to fall into those belief systems, because the papers, the TV, social media, everything is saying these people are bad, they can't come here. I've never been that person to believe that anyway, but even I was like, well, I haven't educated myself enough, so maybe they're right, maybe I shouldn't, maybe they aren't allowed to come here, it's really awful, but maybe, this isn't the right way to do it, maybe they can do it better. But when baby Alan Kurdi got washed up on that beach, I saw that 3-year-old in a complete helpless state, and he'd lost his life, and I thought, okay, so now we can see that this isn't, these people are bad and shouldn't come here. There's a 3-year-old that's been washed from the beach, and that 3-year-old is going to be one of many. So I turned up, and I had no plan. I went to kind of go and offer my energy. And I got there, and actually they were doing lots of building, and I was like, oh, I don't even have any biceps to help out. But I said, look, I'll do whatever you need me to do for the weekend, whether it's chop the food or sort the donations or go into the camp. I did all of those things. And that was just one weekend that I was planning. That was meant to be it. And 3.5 years on, I'm still going back. And I take new volunteers with me. And we meet with these people, and I always resent saying to people they're just like you and I, because everyone should know they're just like you and I. And in those camps, I have seen the worst parts of humanity, stuff that you see only in films, especially for privileged Western lives like ours. But I've also seen the best parts of humanity, and I've seen spirit that is stronger than anything you could ever imagine, ever. I've seen women that are pregnant get beaten by police just because they have a different paper to you or I, and that paper is just a passport. And these women look like me. These women were younger than me, looked like me, but because of a piece of paper that was different, I didn't get the beating from the police, but they did, and they were pregnant. I've had fully grown men collapse onto me because they've had their whole family killed in front of them. But they still had time to say, sister, hello, how are you? Do you want a cup of tea? Come into my tent, let me make you something. And so I had to keep going back, because I would go back and forth, and this was a reality that was happening 30 miles from my doorstep. And then we'd go back to London, and everything was just carrying on as normal. And I almost wanted to run around screaming to people like, hello, look what's going on, look. So I started the movement Stand for Humanity. That supporting refugees is just the way I choose to stand for humanity. But Stand for Humanity is meant for all of us, particularly those of us that have a roof over our head, some food in the fridge, some money in the bank. Because we are the top 10% of people in the world. So if we don't use that tiny bit of privilege, whatever it is, then who does? And so Stand for Humanity is meant to be a way that each of us do something really simple, and make a pledge to do something for one thing that we care about. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be picking up litter in your environment. It could be a waste sorry, I don't know, the UK call it litter, that's probably a British word. It could be smiling at the homeless person or asking their name. It could be spending time with an elderly person, just to have a cup of tea with them once a week, or a coffee, or whatever you like. And you make a pledge to do that one thing for humanity, because for me, being in a camp of thousands of strangers, when you have nothing but your shared humanity to connect on, that's where the magic of change happens. And we have got to remember the power that's within us as individuals to make change. We don't need all the governments to get involved. Look what they're doing. Okay? We forget that we are the majority. And moving on to us talking about sisterhood and circle and women are the ones that are going to change the world. That's where we've always been. Men are here to serve and protect and help, yes. Women have the empathy. Women have a natural connection to what's within us. Women have emotional intelligence. It's just how we are. It's not to say that men and women are better or worse than each other, but we have to use our strengths. With women trying to be more like men, what are we doing? We don't need to be physically as strong as men, or run as fast as men, or do other things as good as men. Let's be good at being women, yes. Right? And the thing that I feel, yes, we've absolutely got a way to go for men and women to be equal, 100%. But there's been so much damage done from patriarchy to women and women. That's where we should focus our healing. Because we have raised villages and villages that raised children. That's what women did. Now we're all closed off and we have to do it on our own. And there's more postnatal depression than there's ever been. And I haven't had children yet, but I'm lucky. I come from India. We focus everything on family. I know that when I have my kids, my mum's going to come in and take over for at least 3 weeks. Because I grew up seeing that. I grew up, my mum's one of 4 sisters, and then I'm one of 8 granddaughters, and you know, it's always been women, sisters, support, nurture. And it was only as I got older that I saw that actually the rest of the world is women are pitted against each other for jobs, or for men, or for looks, or for eyebrows and contouring, whatever the new thing is now. And what's natural to us is to connect. What's natural to us is to come together and share and remember our sisterhood over everything. And yes, there are things that we're going to come across that are different, but the only way that this is going to happen, the only way that we're going to change the world now, is not through wars and more blood and more loss. It's through cooperation and through loving and through understanding and through emotional intelligence. And who are naturally wonderful at all those things are us and our sisters. So I'm actually a poet as well. And I have a poem which I definitely wasn't planning on sharing, but just as I'm talking, I just feel called to share it. Sorry, my throat. It's called Woman, and creatively, and it's my love letter to women, and it's something that I hope will be something you can take away back into your own communities, and something that you can just have an afterthought in your head, or just remember, or when you meet another woman that is closed off or feels like she's put her armour on because that's the way the world has taught her to be, don't react back with that same reaction that we've also been taught. Come from your womanhood, come from your sisterhood. It's far more ancient and in you than this new way of being. So this is Woman, if I can remember it. From the fabric, through the fabric of her being, she is woven with intricate complexity. Intuitive wisdom passed down as a gift from her ancestral queens. Woman understands without need for clarification. Her light being the illuminator, shining into soul to help you see places where you dared not go. Magic lives within us as mothers of the world to children born and unborn. As givers of life, the dawn of creation lives within our internal palace walls. The divination of our cycles reflect the cycles of existence. From the moon to our wombs, we are the prophecies of our grandmother's portals. So tell me, how can anything be compared to woman? Recognize her celestial power without comparison to her male counterparts. Celebrate her in her own right, in the glory of her own magnificence. You see, we are told that woman comes from man's rib, right? Yet daily, man is delivered from woman's queendom. Blurred are the boundaries of the emotional and physical. We nurture and nourish with our hearts, with our bodies. Our full selves are given. Our souls hear, they listen. Our first call in life is to love. Born from the womb of the universe, these cyclical goddesses rise. With a force undeniable, life on earth is not viable. Without woman to tie and pull, the bows of life high and full. It is a feat indescribable. For she is not to be mansplained. She is to be felt. From the core of the earth to the words of a fellow sister call, woman, you are the closest thing to God on this planet. And from the words of my own life giver, my own queen, who told me never to be disheartened with the way the world views women. She said, people will often tell you it's harder to be a woman than it is to be a man. And sometimes that may be true. But my love, you are so lucky to be a woman, for you get to experience the world through your heart. So every woman in the world, and to every sister in this room, I salute you, I honor you, I admire you. I aspire to see Gaia through the divine feminine, the higher you. Thank you. So that's me done. If you want to find me on the socials, which I hate to bring up because we're having such a lovely connected time instead of out there connected, Stand for Humanity is all one word on Instagram, so at Stand for Humanity. I really don't like Twitter, but if you must, it's Love Yazzie, Yazzie, Min, M-I-N, and I am on LinkedIn as well, Yazzie Min, Yazzie, M-I-N. That is my real name, but Yazzie Min is my artist name that I use for poetry and things like that. But if you type in Stand for Humanity on most of those things, it'll come up. And I also did a TED Talk, so type that name in and you'll get that as well. So thank you for listening, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your time at the conference, and maybe I'll see you out and around today. Thank you.